I'm here for motorboat and yachting in Poole at the home of boats.co.uk, who have this Fairline Targa 38 for sale. Now, Fairline built these from 2006. They ran for nearly a decade and it was a very successful boat for them. So I'm going to take a look on board with you and tell you what they're all about. So we're going to step on via this bathing platform. Now, these are a very nice quality boat, and there's some neat details on here, like for example the bathing ladder that is concealed underneath here. And look at this door. It just slips out from there and then tucks itself away again when you don't need it. But what I think works particularly well is the layout, because they've segregated this cockpit nicely into a lovely entertaining area at the back. There is a wet bar opposite, and if we hook whatever this is off of it, you'll see there's a barbecue underneath here as well, and a little sink. Let's pop that object dar back. And another great feature, something I really do like, is the cockpit table. Normally you are either stuck with the table permanently there or dragging it out from inside the cabin, but on this one, this is quite a neat trick. You pull this bit of cushion out here, lift the backrest up where it self-supports. Very handy if you happen to be holding a GoPro at the time, because you can then do this one-handed. And there's your cockpit table. How neat is that? And you just need to put the backrest back down. Little catch here. Pop that fella in and you're good to go. I think that's great. So that is your entertaining area, and up ahead you've got your helm, and another great place for people to sit and join you when you're blasting down the coast under the shelter of this nice big windscreen. Now, these are all twin engine boats. When this boat came out in 2006, the D4 engine had just been launched. So you could have this with a pair of D4 260s, or you could have the larger D6 310s, which were a heavier 6-cylinder engine. A little later on, the D4 300 came out, so the 310 option was dropped, because clearly D4s with the 300 were virtually as powerful and a more compact unit. It's a nice helm position on these, actually. You've got space for your chart plotter there, and there's even space for proper charts up here, so you don't see very often. Okay, let's head on down and I'll show you the rest of this. So inside, this is a 2-cabin layout. So you've got a saloon here, and in fact that will convert to a double bed if you want it to. And then right behind me, I'll spin around, there's a very nice little galley unit. This one's got gas cooking in, so that'll work wherever you are. All electric was an option, and then a twin sinks and a large fridge and a distribution panel tucked away up here. Now, the layout remained the same on all of these, which is the owner's cabin at the front, and then a mid cabin for guests or family tucked at the back. Let's look in here first of all. This is, again, quite clever. One thing I will mention on here is the woodwork. They did a variety of options. You could have the light oak, you could have the darker cherry, this one's got, and this is in the high gloss. It's really classy. And you've got standing headroom as you come in, and then it ducks down to these 2 single beds, which is terrific for kids. But if you've got grown-ups in here, they might want a double. So all you need to do is lift that one across, and there you go, double bed. Brilliant. There's a wardrobe here, and those are the infill cushions for the dinette out in the saloon. Masses of storage along here, and even a little sink. Let's head forward. And one thing you get on this size of boat is a centerline double berth in the forward cabin, so that makes for a very nice cabin up in the front of the boat. And again, plenty of storage. There's a big hanging locker. This is all storage in behind here, and of course a hatch overhead as well. Now, this has got one heads compartment. It's accessed from here, so people from that cabin or during the day, people can come in and use it. But also they put a door into this cabin, so at night you can, of course, from here just simply go straight on in. And again, pretty decent size. This is a cylindrical shower stall, so you can swing that round and avoid getting the whole compartment wet. A little sink in there, and of course your loo is tucked away under this shelf just here. Now, Fairline built this boat up until 2015 with one notable change. which was in 2011 when they brought out a hardtop version. And I say a hardtop, it was still an open cockpit, but it had a roof over it with a sliding panel. And in fact, boats.co.uk have one of those here in their yard. So we're going to take a wander down, take a look at that, and we can show you the difference. So this is a 2012 Targa 38 with that hardtop. And there's another thing worth mentioning here as well, because they also changed the windows slightly. These are the same, but they started putting these vertical hull windows in. It's worth mentioning that this particular shape only lasted about a year, and then they kept the vertical windows, but they went to a much squarer shape, more of a bonded finish, and they squared these off as well at the same time. Different hull colour options came in as well. You could have the brown as this one's got, or you could have the white, or you could have the dark blue, the more traditional colour. And you can see the stern drives on this one because she's out of the water. So these are duoprop stern drives. They have counter-rotating propellers. And talking of engines, they also brought out later on the D6 400 engines, which turned this into an absolute fly machine. I think the speeds were up to about 45 knots with that. And you can have the D6 370s as well. And they were also in the 40 knot area. Anyway, let's have a look on board, and I'll just show you a couple of other tiny changes. So essentially this is the same boat apart from that hardtop, and when it first came out they referred to it as the Gran Turismo, as you can see on this one, but in fact that also changed after about a year. They just called it the 38 Open, but the Open was still this hardtop layout. It just meant it was completely open backed, and of course there's a huge sliding roof section up here so you can open the whole thing out. Beneath this it's pretty much identical, same seating, same wet bar, same clever table, same seating area up here. The only thing that did change was on some of the very last boats in 2015. They changed this configuration slightly and put twin helm seats into it. And the last thing to show you is downstairs, where firstly it has a different wood option in this boat. It's got the slightly lighter wood with a matte finish. And in fact, rather handily, there is a brochure lying on the table, and you can actually see the squarer hull windows compared to the one we've got here. So that is how it ended up right at the end of production. They also mention on here the 400 horsepower engines, which they say give it 44 knots, and the 370s at 42. That compares with the 300 D4s, which they're saying 37, and the 260s at 33, so that gives you a pretty good range of speeds. Fast boat, whatever the engines, but increasingly faster with more power. And the last thing I'm going to show you is in the mid cabin, because they changed the chest of drawers arrangement down the side for this little seat. So a bit less storage, a bit more seating. And that then is about it. That's a fairly comprehensive demonstration of the Fairline Targa 38 and its various options. But whichever you go for, it is a very nice boat, nicely put together, and still very desirable on the second-hand market.